So here we go. This is the test review, okay? Other than an hourly wage, list two methods of earning an income, right? So you could say commission pay, getting paid commission, piecework. You can, we didn't do contract, but I did talk about it in our notes, contract work, and so forth. So those are easy ones to just mention. And the most popular ones are commission and piecework and hourly that we talked about, okay? And then which method of income would you prefer? So you have to explain why you would pick one of these. So if you pick commission, right, I would say the more you sell, the more you earn, or something like that. You could say piecework, the more you make, the more you produce, the more you're gonna get paid, right? The more you're gonna earn. Simple as that. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a statement explaining, okay? Find the total number of hours worked on the time card. I try to only keep it in 15-minute increments. So if you want to use the calculator method, you got to watch out here, okay? Because if you go 1 minus 9, right, you're going to get 8 or -8. This is PM. So you got to add 12 to it, which is 13, right? 1300. So it's 13 minus 9. So that's 4 hours. Okay. And then here, this converts to 8.5. And we're still in AM, so it's 10 minus 8.5. So that's 1.5 hours. You want to use the calculator, okay? And then here, this translates to 10.25, right? Because 50 minutes is quarter, right? So you subtract and you get 2.25 hours. Okay, so the total here would be 3.75, 7.75. Okay, simple as that. That's all that this is just reviewing, and I have another table later on. Okay, this is Beth's time card. She gets a wage of $11.35 an hour. My highlighter is dying, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. Right, so $11.35 an hour, and then it says if she works more than 35, then she gets paid time and a half. That should tell you that this is going to be an overtime situation. Okay, how many hours of overtime did Beth work? Well, we first have to find out. This should have been further up, obviously, but first we have to figure out total hours, right? So if you add this up, you get 0.35, 0.33, right, on the end here. 12, 12, and it's 36. Which is weird, right? It's like what, 0.33 hours? But I'm just gonna double check if I got that right. Because yeah, got it right. So don't worry about it. You just go with it, right? 0.83 hours translates to a certain number of minutes. Okay, so basically we have to say 36.33 minus the 35 that represents a regular week. So it's 1.33 hours of overtime. Okay. I can guarantee you that you're not going to have 0.33s. You're going to have 0.25, 0.5, and that 0.75, right? Or zeros. You don't have to worry about the 8 threes or whatnot. What's Beth's gross income? So we're gonna go regular 35 times 1135. Overtime, we're gonna go 1.33 times 1135, and that gets paid time and a half. So you have to do that in there. So 35 times, this is 397.25. And this, I always like to rewrite it. So you can see the overtime wage, right? You actually make 1703 during overtime. So you made 2265 there. So we'll just do this. Total 392.25. 414.90, or is, oh, that's a 7 here. That's 419.90. So this would be a 3-mark, actually a 4-mark question having to do this, overtime, this, and this, adding it all up. So this is what answers B, okay? What's the gross income? And hours is misspelled here. I have to fix that. Why was it 11 point? Oh yeah, okay, got it. Next, a customer at Jollibee had a great service and wanted to leave their server an 18% tip on their bill. Tips, treat it, right? Write this down on your treat as commission. It's basically, right, you get paid a certain percentage on what you just sold, which is the food, right? And so how much money did they give as tip? So it's just 2462, right? We're going to multiply that by 0.18, and that's $4.43. How much money did they spend in total at Jollibee? Well, obviously you paid the 2462 plus the tip, right? There's the bill, tip, that's 2905 in total. They don't specify after tax or before tax, but I'm like the bill will already have taxes included, right? So then basically you base it on this to tip someone. Okay. This is a quick tip on tips. Okay. If you're not really good at mental math and you're like, how much tip should I give? It's about 15% is the recommended amount. So you look at the taxes, right? Taxes are 12%. So you look at the taxes in your bill and it's like, oh, that's about $5 tax. So I'm going to tip $7 or $6 or whatever, right? Then you know you're not being cheap. All right. Next page, question 6. A waitress earns an hourly wage of $12.04 in addition to tips. Okay. We will treat this as base plus commission. Okay. That's all you need to remember is that tips, we'll treat it as commission, right? So you're making a base salary or wage and you get some extra. If she worked for 4 hours and sold $380 worth of stuff, right, or food, and her average tip was 11%, how much money did she earn at the end of the shift? So we're going to say gross is going to be, we worked 4 hours and we made $12.04 per hour, plus we sold $380 worth of stuff. This is actually right in your booklet, the formula for this. Okay, so the base salary plus the commission, and then you just do it separately. Okay, that's 4816 plus 4180. 8996. Okay. Shawn Mendes gets 17% commission on the sales of his concerts t-shirt. If 3,661 worth of shirts sold at the Winnipeg concert, then how much money did he make? So gross would be sales times the commission, always as a decimal, okay? $622.37. Number 8. And I'm going a little faster, assuming that you already did this, okay? Earl knit sweaters for teddy bears. If you did this already, you're just relaxing. You're just going through this, right? And checking. Earl knit sweaters for teddy bears. He gets $7.53 for each sweater he sells. Sweaters for teddy bears, sorry. If Emil, Arvin, and Riley each buy 2 sweaters, how much did Earl make? So obviously 6 sweaters, right? So we're going to go gross. Would be 6 pieces times 753. So it's 45.18. What does net pay explain? The money left over after all deductions are taken off. So you can say net is gross minus deductions. You can also call it take-home pay. I'm fine with that. It's your take-home pay. It's what you take home. All right. Number 10, when Justin Trudeau was young, he had a gross salary of $437 per week. CPP deductions were $1239. EI deductions were $2163. So this is just giving you the information. You don't have to go get it from the chart. But watch this. What percentage of his pay went towards CPP? So if you want CPP as a percentage, so we're going to do A here, okay? CPP as a percentage, you take the CPP, which is 1239, you divide it by the 437, and you multiply it by 100. And that's 2.84% if you round it correctly, right? Just watch out for rounding. 2.84, because that 5 bumps that to a 4. B, how much of that went into EI? So if you want EI as a percentage, you take that one. This should be fairly simple, right? 437 times 100. That is 4 0.95%. And there it is. I could have given you the federal tax, the provincial tax, and asked you to find the percentages for each. But if like this one, you shouldn't need a formula for, okay? But if you are desperate to have one, I'm just going to give you the one for CPP. So if you want CPP as a percentage, you need the CPP in dollars divided by gross times 100. Sorry, it's getting very crowded, I know. And this applies to EI, it applies to federal, right? So basically CPP as a percentage, you need the CPP in dollars divided by gross times 100. Don't forget a percent symbol, okay? Using the pay stub below, find the gross pay for this pay period. So this is what a paycheck is going to look like, okay? And you have earnings, deductions, how much is it for this whole year so far. Notice that it says the gross pay for this period would be right here, earnings, it'd be this one right here. So let's make an arrow just going. So it's $1,200 right there. The gross pay for the entire year so far, you go over here, the gross for the entire year is 3,000. So if you want to make an arrow going that way, there it is. It's just getting you to read a pay stub. What is the net pay for this pay period? The net pay. Oh, sorry. I lied to you. This person worked some overtime, so this is actually the gross pay for that period. It's this amount here. So regular overtime and then some here. So my bad. Can you change that? Sorry if you're at home erased everything because of me. I apologize. You had it right. So this is for the pay period. And so here this is your gross pay up to date though. Okay. Up to that whole for the year as it stands. Net pay would be the gross minus the deductions. So the net would be the 1650 minus the 367. That's 1283. Okay. Continue. I already went ahead and did this one. So just check if you got this right. It's very important. Like I did this on purpose. I put the 03 in there. It makes it tricky. Like there's actually a 540 exactly, but this is 540.03, so it actually takes you over to the next category, the next bracket. Okay, so even if you're off by a cent, that you will lose the marks for that particular entry. Okay, it's supposed to be a 4 here. This is just time consuming, so this you would need your table for, and there's a video showing you on net pay how to do that. So just go back and check that if you don't know how to do this. But there's gonna be one or two like this guaranteed. So actually that brings me to a very important point. Everybody listen up right now, okay? You need to bring this to the test. Okay, you bring this chart, this table. So right now what you should be doing is your study sheet and this table, put it aside already in a place where you know you're going to remember to bring it with your calculator. Okay, So this calculator and study sheet ready to go so that you don't forget, because you're not going to be able to answer it. And I literally gave out, I have 2 left. That's all I have. So that I'm going to bring those, but if more than 2 forget it, then we're going to be in trouble. Okay. So anyways, we get these deductions based on claim code 2, which is used for federal and provincial. We find our total deductions. The net income then is this. We take our gross, which is given, minus the deductions, 430.89. Okay. Next page. And I already went ahead and found the CPPI, like the 4 mandatory deductions. Watch out for questions that have parking. Oh, I did add that. Never mind. Right, there's parking and health benefits also mentioned. So total deductions here, I'm going to highlight that. Right. Total deductions will be $20.97, $849, $27.55, $27.70. Is this $22.70? Or is it 27? It's 27.70? Okay. And this is 27.55? Okay. Plus 35 plus 24.80. So these are your 4 mandatory. These are often optional. Okay. Because you can refuse. You're like, no, I don't want the parking stall. I'm just going to bus, or I'm just going to park on the street, right? So total here, I don't know what I did with my answer key. $144.51. Okay, that would be your total deduction. So net would be $490.85 minus $144.51. That's $347.46.34 net for the week. Okay. 14, you earn $311 gross by working 25 hours at $11.44 an hour plus tips. How much did you make in tips? So here, it's basically saying, remember, gross is in this case the base plus tips or commission. In this case, we know that this is 311. The base, we have to figure out what it was. That'd be 25 hours times 1140 plus commission, which we're going to call X. This is one way of doing it. You could have done it a different way. So I get 25 times 1140, I get 285 that I made with my hourly wage plus X. So now you can just subtract, you go minus 285, minus 285 on both sides. So X is equal to $26 in tips. So Dick, do I have to show it like this? No, you don't. Okay. If you would have shown me that you multiplied the 25 times 1140 and that you subtracted it from the total you got paid and somehow come up with a difference of 26, you get the marks. Okay. Simple as that. How are we doing with time? Oh yeah, we're doing just fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, so this now I'm mixing in some chapter 1 content, okay? A tire shop buys tires at wholesale price of $85. Okay? Wholesale 85. Marks them up by 150%, right? Before the advertising the price online. Determine the markup amount. So I'm kind of walking you through this, but I may or may not do that on a test, okay? So the markup amount is what you would have to do anyways before you come up with the retail, okay? So the markup would be 85 multiplied by 1.50 because you divide this by 100, right? You divide it by 100, you get 1.50 or 1.5. So 85 times 1.5, that's 127.50. It's a dollar amount, so you have to have 50 there. This is how much it's going to be marked up by. The retail is wholesale plus markup. Okay? So the retail here is 85 plus 127.50. So that's 212.50. So what essentially happened is that $85 was increased by 127. So this is what you advertise to your customers. So basically this is also what you're profiting, right? The price after tax, that you should know this is the trick to do that. Anything you buy, if you want to buy something at the store, you see it, multiply something by 1.12, you add 12% taxes to your amount. So that is the 238 is 212 and the taxes included already there. Amazon's Prime Day offer shows for Bluetooth headphones regularly priced at $119.99 are now reduced to $89.99. Determine the discount amount. So I'm kind of building up to this, the percent discount. So the discount in dollars would just be $119.99 minus $89.99. And that is 30, right? And we now have to calculate the percent discount. So the discount as a percent, you should have this formula in your study sheet, okay? You actually take the sale or the discount in dollars over the original and you multiply that by 100. So it's 25%. Let's say if this threw you off, like this on the formula I give you actually shows up on top here, right? And the numerator. You take your regular minus sale is up here, divided by original. So original minus sale price over original. Same thing here. You did the work before already. You brought the 30 up here. Okay. So the total after tax you'd have to pay. So that's $89.99 times 1.12. That's $100.79. Always clearly indicate your final answer. Kamal earns $15.50 an hour and was promised a 7% raise. Okay, calculate the raise amount. The raise is just that multiplied by 0.07. But you never, okay? I can actually use, you should never say never, but please don't add or subtract a percentage ever to a dollar amount. Okay, you have to multiply it. You're gonna have to multiply it and convert it. Okay, you're back. Her new wage after the raise, so new wage would be $15.50 plus 1.09. That's $16.59. Okay. If she works 38 hours, earning her new wage, calculate her gross pay. So gross, in this case, there's no indication of overtime, right? So we would go 38 hours, 16.59. That's 630.42. How much more does she earn in 1 week now? How much more? What we will do here with old wage, right? With her old wage, she would go gross would be 38 hours times the 15.50. That's 589. That's how much she used to make. So the difference would be 630.42 minus 589. That's 41.42 more. Anybody know how else to come up with this? Or if you're wondering, you could have multiplied the 1.09 times 38 and then you get the difference right away, right? Because you are making this much more every hour. So 1.09 times 38 is 41.42. Okay, that's another way of doing it. So this question would have been worth 2 marks. Then you know, okay, there's more than just subtracting or multiplying or doing anything like that. Determine the better buy, a 12-pack of socks for $16.20 or an 8-pack for $10.20. So you have to do some work here. Unit price is $16.20 divided by 12 socks. That's $135 per sock. The 8-pack, you have to do unit price, which is always cost divided by quantity. That's $1.28 per sock. Better. Last page, guys, and then it's the long weekend for you. For me, it's not, but I'll be happy for you. I'll pretend that I'm happy for you. No, I am. I'm truly. We all need it. Next page, 19. So I mixed up some of the chapter 1 stuff in here so that you're not like, okay, this is all chapter 1, all chapter 2, and then you don't have to think, right? You have to keep your thinking cap on. If you use 5.5 liters of cooking oil to fry French fries enough for 80 people, how much oil will you need to serve 150 people? So remember the fact, right? You need 5.5 liters to have enough for this many people. So now if you're serving 150 people, how many liters do you need? Watch out for rounding, right? If you had figured out how many people you would be able to fry with a given number of liters, you have to have a whole number as your final answer. But you cross multiply here and you divide by 80. Show that work, okay? That's 10.31 liters. Oh, I forgot to change the name of the time card. It's Valerie, but it's Biff up here. So I have to change that. It's Biff. Biff works as a welder and earns $18.90 an hour. He gets paid time and a half. There it is. You know it's going to be overtime. Time and a half for any hours past 40. Determine the hours he worked this week based on the time card below. Okay, so we're going to highlight the wage and the time and a half part. So here you go. This is 9 hours. It's 9, 10 and a half. It's 7 and a half. And I'm going to double check again, by the way. But right now I'm just doing this in my head, okay? $8.75, because this translates to 17.75, okay? If you want to use your calculator, this translates to 18.25. 8, 9, 6, no, 10 and a quarter. And now I'm going to double check because I'm in front of a live audience and I'm on record. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay, somebody said something. Military time? Well, if it's not, you just got to watch out, right? We did that first example. Like if I had put down 5 p.m. here, and you know that if you're going 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., it's not 3 hours, right? So just add 12 to your time. If it is that way, this eliminates that issue. So you got to be careful, right? So 1 p.m. is the same thing as 1 plus 12, so it's 1300 hours, okay? So if you need to do that, go for it. Just add 12 to the PM time. Good question. Okay, let's add up the totals here. This would be 18, 27, 35 and 3/4, 36, 46. Is that 46? I need to confirm. Anybody? Ria, did you get 46? Yeah? Yeah, 46. 46 hours total there. By the way, 730, right? Translates to 7.5. This translates to 18.5 and so forth. So the minutes, right? 15 minutes, 0.25, 30 minutes, 0.5, 45 minutes, 0.75. There you go. Calculate Biff's gross pay. So he worked regular, and regular is considered 40 hours and makes $18.90. We're going to calculate that in a bit. Overtime, he worked 6 hours of overtime, and for that time he gets time and a half as a regular wage. I'm just going to go 6 hours times, I'm going to figure out what 1890 is by 1.5. That's 2835. That's 170.10. And this is 756. Gross would be those two added up. That's 926.10. "17 minutes left. We will make it just in time." Chip earns $748.35 and currently has a wage of $15.90. How many hours did he work? This is the proverbial gross pay is equal to hours times wage. Okay. This is your gross. This is your wage. Hours is the unknown. You cover up hours, so you're left with gross divided by wage. So hours would be 748.35 divided by 1590. And that's 47.07 hours. So you just write down whatever it is, because hours can be stated as a decimal. Okay. Okay. Reiner earns a yearly salary of $76,450. Calculate his weekly income. So to get the weekly, you should also have this on your study sheet, like how many weeks there are in a year. This much per week. Bi-weekly, you would get 76,450 divided by 26. 2940.38. Monthly, $637. But make sure you always take the yearly and you divide it by the number of periods there are in a year. Got 3 left, so make sure you write this down. I'll pause a little bit. I know that we're going to finish it. So just make sure, okay, you have that chart, that table with you for the test, okay? The EI, put it in your backpack already right now with your study sheet and make sure it's with you, okay? And the next chapter we'll be doing is chapter 3, which is measurement. So we'll take a break from dollars and money. Okay. If Amrinder sold 145,000 worth of merchandise and earned $3,625, determine his rate of commission. This you should also have on your study sheet. Right, this is your gross. This is how much you sell, right? And the rate of commission. So rate of commission would be $36.25, the gross pay, divided by the amount you sold times 100. You go look that up in your booklet, okay? And it's 2.5%. It's the sales divided by, sorry, it's the gross pay divided by the sales times 100. That's how you get your rate there. Gina sells appliances and earns $8.55 on commission. She grows $45.80. How much did she sell? Yeah, I can do that. So again, sales, okay, would be your gross divided by the rate of commission. Oops. Make sure you get that right. Okay, divide that by 100 before you get that there. And that is 53,567.25 sold. I gave you all those formulas, okay? Marcel earned 845 last week producing garden tools. If he produced 145 tools, determine the rate per tool. So this is again for piecework. Your gross is pieces and the rate. Okay, so determine the rate. So you want to know that you will divide gross by the pieces. So the rate is 845 by 150 pieces. That's 5.63 per piece. It's basically your unit price, cost divided by quantity. So it's all connected. That is it. I will post this on Google Classroom. After Monday's test, you got to give me 2 days or so to mark them all. And then I will also give you your overall mark in the course, which will be posted here in the class. I will also post it in Google Classroom using your student number, so you can know where you're at. And then it's not much longer until your first report cards, okay? So make sure you have the chart, study sheet, calculator, all of that in your backpacks, ready to go for Monday.